Look, I used to think I cracked the code. I read the books, I watched the movies. I had female friends who told me, just be yourself. And I was out there, being myself, getting friend-zoned so hard I should have been paying rent. I was the king of the "you're such a great guy" speech. Then something shifted. I stopped listening to what girls say and started watching what they actually do. And I'm not talking about basic red pill nonsense. I'm talking about 3 specific, borderline insane lessons that are so counterintuitive, so hidden in plain sight, that when I finally saw them, I felt like Neo in the Matrix. These are the 3 craziest things I have ever learned about girls. One of these literally saved my life. One of them will make you angry. And the third one will make you rethink every single date you've ever been on. By the end of this, you'll either call me a genius or a terrorist in the comments. Let's get into the chaos. Crazy thing number 1. They don't actually want you to be the nice guy. They want you to be the emotional roller coaster. All right, I'm starting with the one that's going to get the most hate comments, but I need you to stay with me. For years, I was the guy who brought flowers. I texted back in 0.2 seconds. I validated every feeling. If a girl said the sky was green, I'd say, you're right, and here's why that's a beautiful perspective. And I was miserable. And they were bored. Here's the crazy lesson. Girls don't fall in love with a guy who makes them constantly comfortable. They fall in love with a guy who makes them feel a range of emotions. Comfort, then slight anxiety, then excitement, then relief. It's the spike. It's the drama. I'm not saying be abusive. I'm saying be unpredictable. I learned this from a girl I dated for 2 years. Let's call her Maya. Maya was a self-proclaimed hopeless romantic who said she just wanted a peaceful, safe love. On paper, I was perfect. In reality, she left me for a DJ who didn't have a driver's license and once forgot her birthday by 2 weeks. 2 weeks! I was shattered. So I did something crazy. I didn't go to therapy. I went straight to the DJ. I bought him a beer, humiliated myself, and asked, how? He laughed and said, bro, I'm never boring. She never knows if I'm going to surprise her with a weekend trip or forget to pick her up. It drives her crazy, and she's addicted to the resolution. Psychologists call it intermittent reinforcement. It's the same reason you're addicted to your phone. You don't get a notification every second. You get it randomly, and that uncertainty releases dopamine. When a girl knows you're 100% sold, 100% predictable, the game is over for her. The thrill dies. The craziest example? I have a female friend who confessed that the most attractive she ever was to a man was a guy who, after 3 incredible dates, just vanished for 4 days. Came back and said, sorry, I was painting and lost my phone. A terrible excuse. A huge red flag. She knew it was a lie. But she told me, I never felt that spike of excitement when my phone buzzed again. I was hooked. I almost spit out my drink. So the crazy lesson is a girl's attraction has an expiration date if you don't provide some healthy tension. You don't have to be a jerk, but you have to have a spine and an unpredictable life that doesn't revolve around her. The flowers in my hand were less attractive than the DJ's chaos. Sane, but true. Crazy thing number 2. The relationship test is happening before you're even dating. This one scared me because it made me realize I had been failing tests I didn't even know I was taking. You know how guys think the test is when she says, what are we? No, that's the final exam. The real tests are tiny, psychological, and basically a trap. I call them compliance and frame tests. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. They're not malicious. Most girls don't even consciously know they're doing it. It's hardwired. She's testing your strength like a sonar ping. If you submit to the wrong ping, attraction instantly evaporates. Let me give you some rapid-fire, absolutely wild examples. I was on a first date, rooftop bar. I ordered a margarita. She ordered a whiskey sour. Drinks come. She looks at mine, makes this cute face and says, oh, yours looks better. Want to swap? Old me? Of course, babe. Anything for you. I realize this is a test. She's not dying of thirst. She's checking if I'll give up my boundaries just because she's pretty. I laughed, pulled my drink closer, and said, nice try. You can have a sip if you say please properly, but you're not commandeering this masterpiece. The look in her eyes changed from lukewarm to purr. Crazy. She later admitted that if I had swapped, the date would have ended early. Crazy thing number 3. The what they say versus what they mean gap is a Grand Canyon. Okay, this last one, this is the one that when I finally understood it, made dating feel like I had cheat codes. And it's the craziest because it completely contradicts the entire culture of communication is key. We're told to listen to a woman's words. That's a trap. Not because they're liars, but because they speak an entirely different language. It's a language of feeling, not facts. I learned this so vividly from my friend Sasha. Sasha had a list of things she wanted in a man. She showed me her journal. It said things like emotionally available, writes poetry, cries during Pixar movies, wants to talk about our future every night. So I set her up with a guy exactly like that. Ben! Ben was a human therapy session. 2 weeks later, she ditched him. She was complaining to me one night, and she said something that changed my brain chemistry. She said, Ben was perfect, but I just didn't feel the spark. There was no mystery. He was like an open book, and I felt like I was suffocating. I said, Sasha, that's literally what you asked for. And she said the most honest, unfiltered thing I've ever heard a woman say. She sighed and said, I don't want to be able to control him. I don't even know what I want until I'm a little bit scared of losing it. Boom! There it is. The words are, I want a safe, available, predictable man who communicates. The feeling, true desire, is I want a man whose world is so engaging that I'm a little bit nervous. A man whose emotions aren't a faucet I can turn on and off. Let me give you the practical, crazy translation guide that I built after hundreds of failures. When a girl says, I want a man who's vulnerable, she often means I want a man who is strong enough to afford being vulnerable, not a man who leads with his wounds. When a girl says, I just want someone funny, she doesn't mean a clown who performs for her. She means I want a guy who can find humor in life so I know he'll survive the heavy stuff. When a girl says, we should just be friends, she doesn't mean you want your friendship. She means the emotional signature you're giving off is so platonic and brotherly that my romantic circuits have shut down forever.